Hello, and welcome back to the Nana Yaa Yeboaa Podcast. My name is Nana Yaa Yeboaa. If you're new to this show, please welcome. If this is your first time, I welcome you. If this is a space for reflection, it is a space for storytelling, truth telling, growth, culture, and having honest conversations about life, especially through the lens of an immigrant experience, identity, and wisdom gained along the way. Today's episode is very personal, is a personal one. It is very personal to me because recently I spent time in Ghana, and there are a few things that really came to my attention, and that is what I put together as the six lessons, what Ghana taught me, my six lessons I learned from Ghana. There are many lessons, but I chose the six because they are top and they are priority. So, from attending funerals, the markets, and all the places, the stories, the museums, everything, I came to, understand that some of these lessons are not meant to be loud. They're very quiet, they're silent, and they come to you without you realizing until you sit and really start digging deep and reflecting on them. Then you realize because it's not packaged in a book. It's not written in the book. These lessons are not. They are living, breathing lessons you gather from people, right? And it's not something that you go to Instagram and find or so until some of us sit and quietly decide, distill it and present it as a podcast. But the one thing that I learned is that life is unfiltered. Life in Ghana is unfiltered. It just goes and goes and goes. And there's so many raw nuggets about life that you can get out of it only if you are attentive and you are really up to listening and learning. So today I want to share six things Ghana taught me this year about life. I got it last year. I'm sharing it with you this year. So these lessons, I believe, apply whether you live on the continent or in the diaspora. Everywhere and anywhere that you live, you will find some valuable life information from it. And I had to put it down in my notes, in my script book. Otherwise, I know I will forget many of them. So when I came, I offloaded, I downloaded it in my journal, and that is what I am sharing with you. So you take what resonates with you and sit with what challenges you. And so let's begin. Lesson number one: your personal decisions have lasting impact on generations. Last year, I had the I fortunately interviewed Morgan Campbell, my fighting family. In that interview, he said that decisions we make have lasting impact. Yes, he said it, but as I reflect on it more and more, and when I went to Ghana, what I said, I saw, what I felt, and everything put it together properly for me, that your personal decisions do not end with you. So I may make a personal decision, it does not end with me. My children, my grandchildren to be, my family, my sisters, my brothers, my cousins, it has ripple effect. So in Ghana, it became very obvious, and one of my second cousins made it very obvious that you do not live an isolated individual experience. You live as someone who is connected backward and forward. We are interconnected with the past and the future. And that is why Ghanaian proverb will say, Titi wobika, Titi wobichre. The past has a lot to say, and the past has a lot to teach. So I attended a funeral, my aunt's funeral, and whilst I was there, I met people I haven't seen in years, people who have traveled wide and far to come, cousins I haven't seen who live outside of. All of them came. We all came to the funeral to say goodbye. So what struck me was that even childhood friends that people didn't know showed up, right? We all showed up. Why? Because of the ripple effect of one's life, you know, because one life has ripple effects outward. It is not only within you, it affects your children, your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, everybody around you. So I began to think about the decisions we make. That is, for instance, the type of people we take on as spouses, how we tend to raise our children, how we manage our money, how we treat people, how we show up or not show up for other people. Because here in the West, and I think I've taken quite a bit of this, is that the understanding is that it's my life. So you do what makes you happy. But in doing what makes you happy, what about the people around you? It is your life, but can you live life in isolation? Human beings are social beings. We live together in communities. And even the monks in Vietnam or Taiwan or Thailand or wherever that they are, as much as they live in isolation, they live in isolation also as community. So I think it's something that we need to be mindful about. But Ghana quietly taught me that it's your life, but your choices will live in other people's lives long after you're gone. It's your life, yes, but the decisions will live with other people long after you're gone. So I asked myself, you know, the migration decisions we've made, I thought about education. Those of us who were sent to school, who stayed in school, and those who decided to drop out and not become anything. And some people dropped out and became the best versions of themselves, right? I thought about the sacrifices our parents made and continue to make if you're a parent, some intentionally and some just out of sheer survival. I continue to ask myself, what habits am I passing down? I had a deep conversation with my partner about, certain behaviors and attitudes of my children, which also put me, to think, what habits am I passing down subconsciously with a deep thought or reflection on me, only me, myself? What fears am I unintentionally modeling? And also, what values am I reinforcing in my daily choices? So I needed to put all these things down for me, and in that sense, decided also to share that, it's not only for us, but it is for the people around us. And that if we're thinking about legacy and building all these things, it's not only what you leave behind. Legacy is about the life you live every day. Legacy is about the life you live every day. So the second lesson that I learned is that when it comes to business and life, start, be open minded, and work hard. Because I realized that I needed to make sure things were properly put in place before I started anything. In Ghana, there was nothing like perfection paralysis. You just start and start and start and go. People just start and they keep going. They start small, they keep going. They start imperfectly, and some make it perfect, some leave it as imperfectly perfect as it is. And they start with what they have, because waiting for somebody to help you, what about if the person doesn't have what it takes, right? So you watch people, start businesses with only a pan, carry load for other people, provide a service, with a wheelbarrow, provide a service, um, selling what, puff puff, bull fruit, meat pie, so many different little businesses that people have started, maybe just out of sheer survival, but either way, it is started. There's no elaborate branding, no 5 year strategic plan amongst many of them. It is survival, and not waiting to when the time is right, because they know the time will never be right. It's the persistence of it, the persistence, the ability to keep going and going and going. When people wake up so early, they work through the heat, either under the sun, or when they're cooking around the pot to cook and to serve others. We adapt, we adjust, like people hustle like there's no tomorrow. It's not in a trendy sense like, how we do it here, we hustling. No. The hustle is for survival. Here, what I've realized is that we over intellectualize. And that is a problem with also the over educated ones on the continent. Over intellectualization always keep the PhDs right where they need to be stuck. Mentally, they have all the knowledge. Skill wise, zero. So we often think, what if I'm not ready? What will people think? If you don't start, how would you know that you're not ready? And what will people think we do not hold? People can think whatever they want to think, and that is up to them. So people work faithfully and consistently, and they keep going, enduring. See, sometimes the endurance level in this country no reach at all, but they keep going consistently and enduring. The third lesson I learned is be open to ideas. And unfortunately, people have so many ideas, many of them not really, but at least when you listen, you you get to know where the person is coming from, or when you listen and you ask questions, you get to think deeper into where the person is coming from. And sometimes in sharing of ideas, they enlighten you into things that you learn, and you equally share with them some of your experiences of what you have learned. Um, you can sit in a taxi and the taxi driver can give you a breakdown of what is going on in the country, how the economy is going, because you know what? They are right there. You can meet an Uber driver who says, I quit my job to do Uber because it's more, there's more money in Uber. And I feel like I meet a lot of people which I want to start a different business. It will give me the opportunity to network. You can meet a grandmother who never went to school, who will give you an idea, who will give you advice based on their lived experience, their observation of their world. And all you do is listen because you may not need it today, but you may need it at some point. And as for talking, Ghana, people talk. People talk, they share, they advise, and you take it as it comes. And if you have some to share, you share it as well, right? So the most profound insights I have realized from the country is not with people with titles or degrees or those big, big people. It is the unexpected. Sometimes a child will say something and it's like, hey, is that a child or it's an old person? They will give you ideas. So I learned to ask questions, a whole lot of questions. I learned to also listen more, active listening. I learned not to dismiss people easily and also to observe patterns. And I realized there's a big need for people. People want to be heard, to be seen, to have conversations that change their mindset. I had somebody sit with me and we sat because I was not in a hurry for almost 6 hours because he had so much to talk about. But who was he going to talk to? Until he met me. And we had conversations upon conversations upon conversations. In so doing, what I learned is that I've become more grounded, more self assured, less arrogant, and more teachable. Because learning is a beautiful thing. The fourth lesson I learned, the fourth, the fourth lesson I learned is that life is hard. Don't get me wrong, I grew up there. I knew life was hard. I immigrated here, lived in the ghettos. I still know life is hard. Now, where I am, prior to about 3 months ago, my cry was life is hard. But I've come to accept that I can live below my means and be okay. So, the reason why the life is hard lesson hit me really deeply is that people do not pretend in Ghana. They don't pretend things will break. Neither do they pretend that money will be tight. They know money will be tight and that systems will fail because they lived in failed systems. And that plans will change because you never know. People change, life changes, things happen. So they live with that adaptability and fluidity. And yet they continue. What I noticed also was that people do not personalize hardship the way we do that. I failed and whatnot. They know the systems they live in, and so they do not personalize it. Instead, they know it is life and there's need for adjustment. Or they used to say during Rollinson's time, tighten your belt. Everybody, tighten your belt. Resilience is the common thread that flows through everywhere we go. Every person I've spoken to, resilience. And it is without romanticizing that fear. You know, suffering is not romanticized, but resilience is the key that keep people going. See, it's like the struggles in Ghana will teach you something that two people are fighting. Somebody is trying to split them apart. And here we are in the window looking at them. It's like I told my sister, come, we don't see this kind of entertainment. It was so funny. No, it was serious, but where we were standing, it was funny. It was serious because these two, one huge military looking guy fighting the skinny, kind of like Okada driver, and one woman very intent on standing in the middle, trying to pull them apart. More people came. So I at least I don't feel guilty, enjoying the show. It was a free show, which we haven't had an opportunity. But you can struggle and still laugh, and you can struggle and still show up for others, and you can struggle and still have joy, which it's difficult when you live in North America. And also, what I learned was that all this struggle with joy and everything is about reframing, right? Especially for immigrants, for professionals, for high achievers who often carry silent shame that they feel. It is reframing. How are you framing your mindset? I remember before I pivoted back into leadership, everything that was happening at the bedside in nursing, I kept asking myself, what is it about me? The question was, what is it about me? What is it about me? Then I realized it's not about me. It had never been about me. People deal with their own issues and want to put it on me. But what I learned was also that I had outgrown the place and I needed to leave, right? So, number 5, invest in quality relationships. If you listen to me, I'm about building community, creating community. It is work to build community, to create community, but it is about the intentionality of it. So you see, Ghana, somebody pass, oh, tell your mom I said this, go give this to your father, say hello to this, say hello to that. That. I watch how people check on each other. There's a is it deaconess? A deaconess that watches over my grand aunt. And she's not paid to do that. She's taken it upon herself to go there and check on her. And when my grand aunt is sick, she's the one that takes her to the hospital. And there are grandchildren living right close by who are not doing the job, right? So neighbors notice absence. If it's like, hey, I haven't seen you. Come knock on the door and check whether she's okay. And the elders are visited, like my grand aunt. The support is communal and not transactional. And we have lost many of that here we do it as transactional. You got to pay me to come. I am buying gas. I am doing this. Let's do it from the goodness of our heart. You know, they do not have much materially, but they have a lot of heart and soul. They have a lot of heart and soul. And let me add mind to it because they think they get a heart and then the soul moves them to do it. How busy are we here in North America? How isolated have we become? And how easily relationships, as we see, are replaced with convenience. Think about it. You know, sometimes when I host New Year's party, it is really not about that I have money to waste, but it's about looking at the joy I get bringing people together, the joy on their faces. When they come, they meet, they learn. Because at the end of the day, people are our safety net. And as Africans in the diaspora, I want us to still continue that wholeheartedly, unreservedly, but with good intentions, not negative intentions. Check on people as people will check on you, as people ask about you. You know, these relationships must be nurtured intentionally and not just left. just like that. The last question, the last lesson that I'm going to share with you is that Ghana made me review what family means to me, because I had the opportunity to just go with my baby sister, who is not a baby, and we had quality time meeting our older sister, going places, memories, being able to network her with other in Ghana, being intentional about things, and visiting extended family, being present, eating together, talking about life, utilizing our experience as healthcare people, checking on blood pressures and everything. So, family is who shows up, who protects you, who holds memory, and who carries responsibility. It is not only the people you live with or the person you live with who shares your last name, or or who fits neatly into a nuclear structure. No. So I realized that in Ghana, family is wide, it is messy, it is difficult, and it is same time deep rooted. So which made me ask myself, who is my chosen family? Number one, what obligations am I honoring or avoiding? And how do I show up across generations? Those are my questions to ask myself. And I know that family is not always comfortable, but it is formative. So, finally, in closing, Ghana did not teach me anything new. They have always been there. But Ghana, this trip helped me curate all this information, all these lessons, that it reminded me the old truths that life is communal and that community matters, that work matters. The work you do, the work I do, the work we all do matter, and that resilience is learned. Nobody comes out just resilient. We need to learn resilience anywhere and everywhere we go, most especially if you're a person of color. You need to learn resilience, be resilient, and understand that when things are not going well, they are not going well. And it has nothing to do with you, but you figure it out. How can I make a slice of heaven even in this hell? That the choices we make as individuals, as parents, echo across generations, and that family and relationships are what anchor us. As we move forward, I hope wherever you're listening, whether it's on Apple, whether it is on Spotify, whether it's YouTube podcasts, I invite you to reflect. What has life been teaching you quietly? Are you listening? Thank you for spending the time with me. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with somebody who needs it, and subscribe and leave a review. I am here because we are, and I do this podcast because I know that somebody will listen, will see, and will take one or two things along with them to help them build a better life. So, live intentionally, choose wisely, and build with purpose. Until next time, I'm Nana Yaa Yeboaa. Thank you.